Hi everyone and welcome back. It's hard to believe it, but 10 years have passed since I tried the first Meze headphone, the 99 Classics. I clearly remember the day when I got them. I don't know a single headphile that never tried the 99 Classics. All of my friends tried it. Some of them even bought them back in the day. Today, however, I'll discuss their successors, the 99 Classics V2, and later in this video I'll compare the old ones with the new ones, and that's what most of you want to know. So let's dive in. I think it's a bit irrelevant talking about the build quality, the looks and the comfort levels of the V2 because your eyes are already suggesting everything you need to know about them, and if you have ever tried the V1, then the V2 are ever so slightly nicer built with a nicer comfort all around. The walnut ear caps are now larger compared to the V1, also the ear pads are bigger, so these should be comfortable even for elderly ears. While they look almost identical with the V1, there are a couple of must-have improvements that made them more durable and just more universal with third-party cables. For example, the 3.5mm socket is now larger and you can now accommodate a few third-party cables if you wish. Even the stock cable is now considerably thicker and more resilient to twists and to stretches. We now have a USB Type-C dongle in the package that includes a DAC and also a headphone amplifier. So if you don't have a headphone jack, don't worry, because this USB Type-C dongle will save your day. As long as you have a USB Type-C connector on your smartphone, tablet or laptop, you'll be able to experience the 99 Classics V2 sound. In total, there are 10 improvements with the new model, and I suggest checking Meze's website if you want to know all of them. All in all, these are more polished this time around and easier to use. They no longer require a 3.5mm jack on your smartphone, laptop or tablet. And overall, I'd say that they are bringing some very impressive quality of life improvements. I find them more comfortable to use long term as well, mostly due to larger ear caps filled with memory foam. These are slightly larger and therefore a little bit heavier compared to the V1, but at 290 grams, these are still very lightweight and you won't feel them in 2 to 3 hour listening sessions, so please don't worry about that. These are still one of the lightest closed back hi-fi grade headphones that you can buy right now. As for tech inside them, these are once again closed back dynamic headphones, and the only big difference compared to the V1 is that they are no longer using OEM drivers but custom designed drivers in their factory here in Romania, in Baia Mare. So everything you see right now is 100% assembled and made in Romania in their factory, which I visited last year. While these drivers have a similar shape, size and sensitivity of the old ones, these are brand new drivers, and these are higher performance drivers as well, so you can expect a higher technical performance from the V2, but more about that in a few seconds. I think this is all you need to know about this, so let's hit some eardrums and let's check this out. If you have never tried the original 99 Classics, then let me just summarize everything that I know about them in just a few words. So these were not the most technical closed back headphones I tried, but at $309 nobody expected them to be super technical or clean sounding. Meze wanted to achieve a very different tuning, a different sound. These were instead super fun and engaging, and this is actually what I loved the most about the original 99 Classics. The bass was very physical and very punchy sounding. A little bit bloated once you went a little bit louder than 90 dB. It was not the most tight or clean sounding bass, but it was definitely bringing the thunder every time you were listening to some electronica or some rock tunes. So very fun sounding in the bass. The mid-range is basically your typical Meze audio mid-range, very sweet, very seducing, easygoing, easy to love, and a little bit emphasized, but I actually like that part because when the mid-range is full-bodied, you can listen to basically any musical genre that you wish. The treble was a little bit rolled off for my taste, but again, at $309 US, nobody expected them to be, super technical or clean or super extended in the treble. But again, I actually like that part because I could listen to some heavy metal tracks or to some rock tunes just before bedtime, and they wouldn't pierce my eardrums with some super heavy trebles. So this part I also enjoyed on the 99 Classics. So everybody knew that these are not perfect, these are not, offering you a straight line in the frequency response, but this was super fun sounding. And this is what made them quite special in my book. The V2 got a new tuning that tries to balance the frequency response, but wait, don't move to the next video because this is not a bad thing, and let me explain to you what I mean by that. So yes, these are maybe right now in the stock configuration not as fun, not as thumpy and physical sounding like the original 99 Classics, but at the same time I find them more hi-fi, more technical, clearer, tighter, and these are not breaking up once you go a little bit louder. So if you want to listen to music at 95 dB like I do, but please don't tell me to my wife, then I believe these will sound better to you because the sound is not breaking up, distortion is no longer a problem, and the bass is always remaining tight and clean and not so much on the V1. I was a little bit sad, honestly, that the V2 didn't have exactly the same fun factor that made the V1 quite legendary and, dare I say, even classics in the headphone kingdom, that I started to exchange a few emails with the development team for a couple of months now, so I have them for quite a while now. And I'm happy to report that Meze Audio actually decided to create some very special sound absorbers. They look like this, and you can put them in between your driver and also the earpads, and the sound will get back to the V1 sound, but of course being and retaining the same technical level of the V2. So yes, I'm happy to report that you can make them quite fun, again quite punchy, and with a little bit of roll-off in the upper treble that makes everything else, the bass and mid-range, stand out just a little bit more. I'm glad to inform you that Meze actually delivered on its promises, and if you don't like the stock tuning, just remove these earpads, something like here. It's very easy to remove. Wait a second. You can include something like this, the acoustic absorber, put back the earpads, and voila, you are going back to fun times. The bass will get playful, the mid-range a little bit boosted, and the trebles rolled off. So this is basically the V1 sound, but with the technical performance of the V2. And here is the measured frequency response of the V1 versus the V2 in stock form, and then with the acoustic absorbers installed. These absorbers remove some of the energy building up in the upper treble, as you can see, and therefore you can easily hear and feel the power of the bass region and the warmth of the mid-range. These absorbers are marginally elevating the upper mid-range, so the vocals, or more exactly the female vocals, are ever so slightly sweeter and more natural sounding to my ears. If you have lived with the original 99 Classics for a while now, for a few years now, then I wouldn't be surprised if you like the V2 with these acoustic absorbers installed. I'm definitely part of this group, but some of you might actually enjoy them in their stock configuration, which I don't think is bad. It's actually a substantial improvement versus the original one, especially when it comes to resolution and sound tightness. It's just I arrived at a stage in my life where I care for the fun factor a lot more than to all of the resolution that you can have in this world. I started listening to music way back when I was a kid, I believe 7 years old or something like that, and I remember clearly saving some pennies so I could buy somewhere in the future a portable cassette player and a few records. I still do that today, but those are CDs and super audio CDs. I don't know why, but these headphones remind me why I started it all and why I would do it all over again. And I think that the V2 follows this legacy with just a little bit more resolution, with more transparency and with a nicer grip over the lowest frequencies. Comparing these two is actually very simple, and to be frank with you, this entire review actually feels like a huge comparison in between the V1 and the V2. The only part of the V1 that I didn't particularly enjoy was actually the bass bloat, especially when you were going a little bit louder than 90 dB. These were not really the tightest sounding or the cleanest sounding in the bass, and that part I didn't enjoy that much with the 99 Classics V1. I needed to stay somewhere at around 90 dB or a little bit lower, so the bass would be clear without any kind of distortion. That is no longer the case with the V2, so if you want to rock out really hard like I do, you can do that with the V2. The bass is tight, clear, and it's never distorting even at 95 or even 100 dB SPL. The mid-range section is more or less identical on these two, with just one single difference, is that the vocal performance and generally everything that you can hear in the mid-range is just a little clearer, a bit sharper, and there is more information oozing from the entire mid-range region. There is a longer vibration of the vocal cords, the string instruments also have a longer decay, and overall I'd say that there is just a little bit more micro detail information on the V2 compared to the V1. The trebles appear to be sparklier on the V2, and they also have a somewhat more extended treble delivery as well. And while the measurements are more or less the same in this treble region, V1 with the V2, let's not forget that these measurements are only showing you, the frequency response and not anything else, like how clear or how detailed a headphone can sound. That is only your ear and your brain can differentiate. So this is what I'm going to say, is that these do sound clearer and these provide you more details compared to the V1. And there's a lot more in the treble, there's a little bit more in the mid-range, and not as much, but still a nicer and a clearer bass delivery as well. Overall, the V2 offers a wider frequency response extension. We have a lower distortion once you go a little bit louder, and these are not breaking up once you go louder, sounding great even when blasting 95 to 100 dB into your eardrums. Overall, I'm super glad that Meze Audio took my advice seriously and included these acoustic absorbers in the package. So thank you, Vlad, for listening to me. You rock, I rock, we both rock. These actually changed a lot in the sound tuning, and these made me love and appreciate music again on the V2 99 Classics. You might like the new tuning or you might like the old one. The cool part is that Meze Audio offers us two sound tunings, two different sound profiles with the same purchase, so you don't need to buy two separate headphones for two different sound signatures. We have them both with the 99 Classics V2. The price went up from $309 to $349 US, so it's a $40 increase, but to be frank with you, I believe this is just a very good investment. I believe they still do not have as many competitors at $349 US, especially when discussing dynamic closed back headphones. Don't forget that we have a much thicker, much sturdier cable. We have plenty of improvements, more exactly 10 improvements that you can see on Meze's website on the newest model. And of course, we have this small USB dongle DAC and headphone amplifier that makes them much easier to use with your smartphone, laptop, or tablet. The price increase is minor, but the quality of life improvements are substantial, and I think they once again offer a great price to performance ratio, as very few dynamic headphones are comparable with these, especially if you don't like analyzing music but listening to it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my review. Don't forget to smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers!